Welcome to this edition of Inside Leduc. Our guest today is Lynn Dzuris, owner of Sunshine Sewing. Please listen in as she talks about how she has seen a gap in the market in Leduc and has pivoted her business and her advertising to help support the community. Hello, and welcome to this month's edition of Inside Leduc. I am your host, Tarah Flynn. I would like to acknowledge that we are on Treaty 6 territory, a traditional meeting grounds, gathering place, and traveling route for many First Nations. We acknowledge these many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit whose footsteps have marked these lands for centuries. So our guest today is Lynn Dzuris from Sunshine Sewing. Welcome, Lynn, to the podcast. I'm so glad to have you join us. Hello and welcome. Yes. Hi. So tell us a little bit about your business. What's your elevator pitch?
What I do is I do regular clothing, mending, and alterations, including formal wear. And I also have a lot of experience working on outdoor sports gear. So I repair those types of items as well as other things that are made of heavy duty materials.
So how did you get specialized in outdoor wear? Was that something that you did it for a lot for yourself first?
Well, I actually worked for a company in Whistler, BC for several years and learned a lot from Allison at Spearhead Design. And we repaired and altered staff uniforms for Whistler and Blackcomb Mountains. So I know how to sew a zipper in a ski jacket. And and I also did some manufacturing there. I helped to manufacture about 300 utility vests. So I also I can use industrial machines. I have a lot of experience on industrial machines. They're quite a bit different than a regular sewing machine.
Yeah, I believe that for sure. So what was your inspiration behind starting your business?
Well, I've loved to sew for most of my life. I love sewing and I really enjoyed working as a seamstress. It was a great job. I guess starting up this business, I just felt like I had the right skills and the right motivation to get going at this time, like to run my own business. I felt like I was ready for it.
That's awesome. So you mentioned that you always loved it, but is that always what you did then? Is that, you said you worked in Whistler, but was there other jobs that you had in the past as well?
Well, as far as sewing goes, I had my own sewing business for a little while in Whistler, and I also had one for a few years on the Sunshine Coast. I've worn many hats in my life, to be honest. I've had several different jobs. When I first moved to Edmonton 3 years ago, I actually, after a few months, ended up with a bookkeeping job in Edmonton and I was commuting, but I didn't like the commute. And I really did not want to move to Edmonton. After a few months, I was falling in love with the Leduc area, and my mom lives here, and my sister's family is nearby as well. I just really love living in Leduc.
Yeah, having family around definitely adds some flavor to being in a town because it's nice to have those connections around for sure. So what's the greatest thing that you've learned about yourself since you started your business?
I've learned that I should stop. I need to have more confidence in my abilities. I think most people really underestimate what they're capable of. And sometimes you just need to go for it.
If you could do anything differently, what would it be? Have you noticed anything in running the business that you would have started out differently?
Absolutely. My life in general, there would be too much to cover. There are a lot of things I could have done differently. But my business, one thing I did is I was really geared towards promoting the outdoor gear repair when I started. I thought, well, Leduc is a very sporting community, and so is Edmonton, and just people love their summer sports and their winter sports, and I could work on camping gear, things like that. But then a couple of girls brought me bridesmaid dresses to alter, and they were happy with my work, and they told a couple friends, and told a couple friends, and next thing I knew, my workshop was filled with bridesmaid dresses, and I was really enjoying working on formal wear, and I just kind of thought, okay, when you look at your closet full of clothes, there's a couple of things that are sporting clothes at the end of it, but the market is more for regular clothing, mending, alterations. So now I've redesigned, done some tweaking with my website and just made it clear to people that, yes, I would love to hem your jeans and alter your other clothes for you, as well as doing the heavy duty stuff as well.
That's awesome. So what is your favorite thing about running your business?
Oh, I love being my own boss. I love that I have control over the quality of my work. I'm really picky, and I think that's a good thing for a seamstress to be. And also, I like having flexible hours because sometimes I need to do personal things during the day, and I can do that. Just as my mom gets older and I'm helping her out, I can do what I want and then stay for couple of extra hours in the evening and keep my work all caught up.
That's awesome. Yeah, for sure. So it definitely plays into the lifestyle that you want to live owning this business for yourself. Yeah. That's fantastic. So when you said you lived in Leduc for a while, did you look outside of Leduc when starting your business, or did you always want to just start it in Leduc?
Definitely wanted to start it in Leduc.
Yeah. Less commute that way then.
Definitely. Yeah. And I actually, I looked around a lot to find a space, more than a year. I've been just, whenever affordable spaces came up, I was going to have a look at them. And to be honest, they were usually too small, too dark. And as soon as I came into this office building, I'm in the Hughes Car Wash building beside the bingo hall. And I've got a big, bright space that really works with all the machines I need to work with. And I have great neighbors in the offices nearby. And the owner of the building is great. It's a really well-maintained, very clean building. And I just feel so, but as soon as I found the place, I was like, okay, it's time to go for it.
That's awesome. So did you find you had some pushback when you said you were going to start this as like a storefront business?
Well, that was actually the searching was, in fact, a pushback because people that were showing me commercial spaces were telling me that I would not find anything nicer in my price range, but I persisted and I kept looking and I found something great.
That's awesome. And you just kept on going. So that's fantastic. That's it's definitely something that we've needed in town. So I'm so very glad that you pushed through that. That's amazing. So what has kept you, how long have you been in business?
Only about 4 months now.
There you go. Yeah.
So I'm still quite a new business. I'm still growing. I would love to be a lot more busy than I am, but the weddings in the summer, as mentioned, the bridesmaid dresses, it was a wonderful start for me and a good way to get the word out and establish a clientele. And I am steadily growing, and I'm doing better than I thought I would be in such a short time.
Well, that's good. And I'm really hoping that this can also create a different platform for you to help grow, because it is something that we've needed in Leduc for a while, is a seamstress or someplace to have our clothes mended. Our everyday clothes is something for me for sure that I've definitely been searching for. And my sister-in-law actually made a post and she's like, where do I go? And then the next day I saw yours. So I was like, oh, this is fantastic. So I'm definitely glad to have you in our community.
Thank you. I'm so grateful to my customers that post positive things about my work on social media. They've just been awesome. There are a lot of nice people in this town.
Yes, that's awesome. So what keeps you motivated when the days get hard?
Well, mainly, and that would be like when days get slow, but mainly just working hard because it's always a lot to do. I have, besides just sewing, other people that run small businesses know this. Other than sewing, I'm doing bookkeeping. I'm doing sewing machine maintenance. I'm ordering materials and supplies. I'm driving in and out to Edmonton to buy material, to buy supplies sometimes. I'm updating my Google listing and my website and my Facebook page, and that's there's always a lot to do. I just have to make myself, when I'm in my workspace, I'm working.
That's absolutely, time blocking is key. That's definitely for sure. So how do you celebrate your wins?
I already mentioned how, a win is when someone posts something nice about my work. And I just love that. And I say, yay. And I think it puts me in a better mood. And I try to share the love is how I celebrate it. Just by there are so many nice people working in stores and businesses in Leduc, and they give great service. And I need to tell them that. And I like to tell them that, and I do. But what I need to do is let the bosses know and write more positive Google reviews, and just do that as a celebration of the community.
Absolutely, for sure. Google reviews are definitely a key point to business, and I love the fact that it reminds you as well. Like if you've left a comment, they'll be like, "Oh, did you want to leave another one?" So I think that's pretty awesome, and it's definitely helpful to the search engines when they see the reviews online, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So I look at those.
Pardon?
I look at those when I'm looking for a service.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
I do have a look. I take it with a grain of salt, but it's an indicator. Yep.
Yeah. So what's the biggest pivot you've had since you started your business?
Probably going back to changing my focus in marketing from marketing sports gear and heavy duty items to marketing the regular clothing and alterations part of my business. Yep.
So is there any of the challenges that you're facing now in having those pivots?
Not really. I have less people calling saying, do you do normal clothes? Because of the way my website was originally set up. But now that I've adjusted it, that doesn't happen anymore. But yeah, not really because of the pivots. Other challenges I'm facing is, like everyone, this thing called COVID-19 is keeping people at home, and a lot of people have less money coming in than before, so they can't afford to buy as many clothes or afford to pay for alterations. But it's just kind of something every business is going through on a daily basis, day to day. It's very easy for me to manage. My customers are coming in with masks on, and they're coming in one at a time. They've just been awesome. And it's easy for me to just wipe down and disinfect surfaces. Throughout the day, I'm wiping down the door handle and my changing room and all the touch surfaces in my shop. So that part's easier. But yeah, it's a time where I think we need to be patient, I guess, just get through it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So if a customer is needing alterations or anything, they just come into you directly? Do they have to call and book an appointment? What's that process like?
It depends on what the item is. Normally, people can just stop by during my normal business hours, which are Tuesday to Saturday from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. If it is a bridesmaid dress, then something with a very full skirt or the size need to be altered, and I know it will take some time, then I book fittings. And I was booking a lot of fittings in the summertime. Yeah. Or also if there are several items they're bringing in, and I know it'll take some time, it's best to book a fitting with me.
Okay. That definitely makes sense. That I never would have thought about that for many items, but yeah, absolutely. That would make sense to book it for sure. Is there any way that the Leduc community can better support you?
Well, in general, they already are supporting me. I've talked about customers. My sister's family has been supporting me. They've been hauling equipment up the stairs for me, up and down the stairs. Just on that topic, if anyone has mobility issues like seniors, I will meet you on the ground floor, and I can even do fittings on the ground floor of the building, just as an aside there. And I have to mention the chamber that's given me a lot of support as well. They did a ribbon cutting that helped me meet some really nice people, and also connected me with a Get Digital program where a university student gave me some instruction on digital marketing, and it was just great. He was brilliant. So I guess to end with the support I've been getting and go back to how I could get more support, I guess just bring me your clothes, and I'd love to alter them and make them fit you better.
That's awesome. I didn't know that they were doing that with students. Like I know the city of Leduc does a lot of projects with the university in regards to, road flow and stuff like that. So that's awesome that they're even bringing that in with the chamber and helping with the digital marketing. I think that's a fantastic way to help our business community, but also create an opportunity for the students to give real practical learning and education. So it's a win-win for that. That's fantastic.
I think it is. And I think the same program may be connected to the City of Leduc as well. I think I saw something on the City of Leduc website about it too. So, but it is out there. It's called Get Digital, and it's a really good one.
Yeah, fantastic. So where would you like to see your business 5 years from now?
I would like to be really busy and have at least one or even two other skilled seamstresses working with me in my workshop.
That's fantastic. Yes. Growth. And then you can have even more time for yourself as you can, and marketing and doing everything that you need to run your business. So that would be fantastic. So what would it mean to you to achieve this goal?
I could actually have a nice long vacation. If I could leave my shop open with someone in charge and just take off for a while. I'm living for that.
Nice. Where do you want to go?
It's been a while.
Yeah. Where do you want to go? Do you have a place particular?
I don't know, maybe Mexico or Central America. I'd also like to go back to the West Coast, maybe drive across British Columbia back to the West Coast and enjoy Jasper and Banff on my way through. Maybe do a big circle drive. That's another dream, but one day I'll do it.
Yes. We'll get there. We'll get there.
I will.
So what do you love about Leduc in this community?
Oh, I love the parks and the green space. Really love Telford Lake. I like the people. It just has a small town vibe. I've already mentioned how people in stores are just great. And I really like that too. It has a nice community spirit as well.
That's awesome. And when you think too that you came from Whistler, I imagine that really plays into the need and the desire for the lake and the green space and how that, attracts you to our city, because Whistler it's all beautiful in nature and green in the summer and right. Yeah, so I think that would definitely relates for sure.
Yeah. After that, I also lived on the Sunshine Coast in BC too. So I did some paddling there on the inlet, dragon boating and outrigger paddling. And last year I was on 2 years, 2019, I was on Telford Lake in a dragon boat. It was wonderful.
Yeah, the Telford Lake and the boating is something that I think is really understated here in Leduc. I was actually really surprised to hear that the majority of the people who go to Leduc Boat Club aren't even from Leduc. They're all from Edmonton because their boat club's full. So it's really something that I think is just a special gem that we need to take more pride and effort in going to the Telford Lake. So.
Yeah, it's great. And the multi-way, like having the track all the way around, all paved, and you see so many people on bikes and kids on wheels, like scooters and skateboards and just anything with wheels you could imagine. It's just so cool to see families out taking advantage of those trails.
Yeah, absolutely. For sure. So what is your favorite restaurant in Leduc?
I love Indian food. So India Grill and Bistro is very yummy with a really lots of good things, lots of different types of food kind of for everyone on the menu. It has some vegetarian and some meat dishes and things like that. Really yummy.
For sure. It definitely is a tasty treat to go there, and having young kids, it's usually where we go when my kids aren't there for dinner.
Right.
Yeah, it's usually where we go for date night. So if you need a special gift, where do you go in Leduc?
I go to Main Street. I walk up and down Main Street. I just love it. There are so many different shops selling everything from clothing to accessories to jewelry to plants and puzzles, and you can get nice art cards there. There's a music shop. I probably left out some cool businesses, just lots of unique gifts and quite a range of prices. Like you can find affordable things, cool affordable things in those shops.
For sure. And I'm always surprised when you go down Main Street too, and how big the stores are. Like you get this little storefront, but it's so long. You're like, wow, it just keeps going and going and going. It's definitely a nice surprise when you go shopping. But yeah, and there's so many different shops as well. So yeah.
And some new shops opening up, and it's just a really, really charming place to shop.
Yeah, for sure. So if you have a day off, how do you spend it?
Well, back to Telford Lake. I would ride my bike around Telford Lake and then ride in the bush on the trails at the end of Lions Park. And then this is my dream day. And then I would go dragon boating on the lake. And then I would go get my mom and take her bird watching beside the lake, because that place, you have to mention the birds. In the summer, there are so many cool water birds and other animals around the lake too. It's cool.
Have you ever done the bird watching event? Like they have a bird watching, I think once or twice a year. Bird count?
I want to, but I'm not. I'm a really amateur birder. I've just kind of become a bird watcher since I came to Alberta, and I haven't quite had the time. So hopefully next year I'll have more time in my life for a project like that.
Yes, with an extra staff member for sure, right?
Well, maybe not next year, but maybe the one after.
There you go.
I'm wishing for that.
There you go. But I'm
being realistic too.
Right? Well, that's true. You got to be realistic and keep within the budget, right? So when you lived in Whistler and stuff, did you do lots of outside sports like the biking and everything like you were talking about doing here?
You know what? I didn't. I snowboarded and I rode my bike for transportation in Whistler. When I moved to the Sunshine Coast, like in my 40s, I started mountain biking there, and they have a huge network of bike trails there. So I did biking there, and then I discovered the water sports and the paddling there, and that was fun.
That's awesome. Yeah, which is definitely correlates as well to Leduc, because we have those types of things that you can keep those passions alive here. So that's awesome for sure. So do you have a favorite book that you're reading?
I'm not reading it now, and I have several favorites, but I really loved the Wofield Poultry Collective. That's poultry as in chickens. Wofield Poultry Collective. It's called by Susan Juby. And I loved it because it's a funny book, but it also touches on some serious topics, but looks at them in a positive, optimistic way. And I think right now, we all should be reading books that make us laugh.
We definitely need to laugh more and feel better about life and have that moment of energy for sure.
Because there's so much beauty around us, and so many good people and so many good news stories that we don't hear enough of because the news is the bad news. And yeah.
No, I agree with that.
There's so many great things happening in the world right now too. And
yeah, I think there's actually like a good news email newsletter you can get every morning when you wake up. You can get an email with good news.
I'm going to subscribe. I'm going to look for that.
Yeah, it's so you wake up every morning to some good news from around the world. So it's definitely a different, a good thing to start your day with for sure. So you mentioned doing like winter thickwear and then alterations, but if someone comes in with a pattern, can you do that as well?
No, I do custom sewing, but I don't make custom made clothing. If you do have the clothing custom made, expect to pay about double what you would in a store for an item. It'll cost a lot more money because the pattern and the fabric and all of the time involved in fitting a garment to a human body is pretty complicated. But I make cushion covers and duvet covers and pillow covers. I made an apron, a heavy duty apron for a beekeeper. That was cool. Bee armor.
Yeah.
Because he was getting stung through his bee suit. And so projects like that, as long as they're, fairly simple and, things that take less time, I can do for a good price.
That's awesome. Yeah. Well, that definitely, I can imagine we need your industrial sewing machine for something that thick to cover from the bees.
Yep. That's true.
So how many sewing machines do you have there?
I have 4 right now. I may be buying another one, but they all have different purposes. I have a serger, and I won't move my camera now, but I have a serger, a domestic machine. It's actually a quilting machine that I use it has a walking foot that I use for heavy fabrics. Like I was sewing pillow covers out of a really thick, fluffy chenille blanket. Things like that, where you have layers. When you want them both to feed through, you want it to be pulled from the top and the bottom. My industrial machine does that too, but it would damage fragile fabrics. So I'm very, very happy with the machines I have right now, but I may end up buying 1 or 2 more for special purposes.
Yeah, for sure. Well, hopefully this will help drive some awareness and help support your initiative here in Leduc. Awesome. Well, thank you so very much for coming and joining us today. It's been such a pleasure to have you on our podcast.
Thank you, Tarah. It's been wonderful being on your podcast. Thank you. Thank you so much for a really fun interview. You have a great day.
Yes, you as well. Thank you.
Thank you.